Blake Lively really thought she was going to walk away from this whole mess looking like the victim, and now Hollywood is sitting there quietly trying to rewrite history while Justin Baldoni is somehow the one getting treated like radioactive material. Girl, make it make sense. Because the deeper the story gets, the crazier it sounds. And now insiders are finally talking, trades are leaking information, agents are whispering behind closed doors, and apparently everyone in Hollywood has suddenly become very concerned about who they want to work with next. Oh, really? Now you care about toxic behavior? Because if we're being honest here, people in this town ignored actual monsters for decades as long as the box office checks kept clearing. And that's why this latest Hollywood Reporter article irritated so many people. The tone of it was basically acting like Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are equally responsible for this disaster, and people are not buying that anymore. The article literally quoted executives saying both Blake and Justin are in jail career-wise after this lawsuit war. But let's pause right there because people online are asking the same question over and over again. What exactly did Justin Baldoni do that deserves this level of punishment? Seriously, because from the public perspective, Blake Lively launched accusations, Justin responded, evidence started coming out, claims started disappearing, and suddenly Blake's entire narrative started collapsing in real time. But somehow, Hollywood is still trying to keep this both sides are guilty narrative alive. And honestly, it feels calculated at this point. The article even framed Justin as someone who went too far, and people immediately pushed back because what did he actually do besides defend himself? That's what's making audiences angry. Justin didn't wake up one morning and randomly start attacking Blake Lively. He responded after his reputation got dragged through the mud publicly, yet Hollywood reporters still found a way to subtly frame him like he was part of the problem instead of reacting to the chaos thrown at him. Meanwhile, Blake Lively is still getting treated with these soft gloves. They're still reminding everyone she led and produced It Ends With Us and how successful the film was financially, almost like they're trying to protect her status in the industry. And people online noticed that too because, wait a second, Justin Baldoni directed the movie, produced the movie, starred in the movie, helped bring the project together, and somehow the coverage keeps minimizing his role while elevating Blake's. That's why so many fans feel like the media still wants Blake to survive this scandal while Justin gets quietly sacrificed. And then the article started talking about the future of their careers, and this is where things got really messy. One executive basically admitted that Blake Lively's brand has taken a massive hit. Apparently, insiders believe her paycheck power dropped dramatically after the situation exploded publicly. They're saying studios may no longer see her as this guaranteed high value leading lady anymore. And honestly, people saw that coming because even outside the lawsuit itself, the public image damage has been brutal. Social media turned on her hard. Interviews started resurfacing. Old clips came back, fans started re-examining years of behavior they once ignored, and now there's this growing feeling online that Blake's carefully crafted image completely cracked open. But here's the part that really shocked people. According to multiple insiders, Justin Baldoni may actually have the harder road back in Hollywood, despite many viewers believing he was unfairly targeted. One casting director literally said they can't imagine him directing a movie anytime soon because of the allegations surrounding the set. And that's where audiences started losing patience because people keep repeating phrases like unsafe set, as if it's already confirmed truth, even though so much of the original narrative fell apart publicly. That's the thing driving people insane right now. The accusations get repeated forever even after holes start appearing everywhere. And while Blake is apparently being advised to take a break and maybe reinvent herself as some edgy villain role, Justin is getting treated like damaged goods, despite the fact that many fans now see him as the person who got dragged into a public destruction campaign. One producer even joked that Blake should lean into being the villain because the public already sees her that way now. Ouch. But Ryan Reynolds isn't escaping this either, because according to these insiders, Ryan's reputation also took a major hit during this entire situation. And honestly, that part surprised a lot of people because Ryan spent years building this untouchable, funny, lovable guy image, but suddenly audiences started side-eyeing him too. especially after reports claimed he got deeply involved behind the scenes. Now, there are whispers that studios are nervous about him as well. One insider even claimed Apple hesitated on releasing one of his projects because of all the controversy surrounding him and Blake. And social media has definitely noticed the shift. Ryan used to get automatic praise online. Now every interview clip gets flooded with comments about Blake, the lawsuit, the text messages, the allegations, and the PR war. The shine is wearing off. Even worse, insiders are allegedly saying Ryan knows he cannot afford a Deadpool flop right now because that franchise is basically protecting his entire Hollywood position. Without Deadpool, what exactly is his current identity as an actor? That's the uncomfortable question people are starting to ask. Ryan Reynolds built an empire off being the sarcastic, funny guy everybody wanted to hang out with, but this scandal changed the energy around him completely. And once people start looking at celebrities differently, it's very hard to reverse that. Suddenly, every joke feels forced, every interview feels calculated, and audiences begin questioning whether the nice guy image was ever real in the first place. That's exactly what's happening now. Hollywood insiders are quietly admitting Ryan's reputation took collateral damage because the public no longer sees him as detached from Blake's actions. They see them as a team. And honestly, the internet has become ruthless about it. People started bringing up how aggressively Blake and Ryan allegedly moved behind the scenes during the entire situation, how hard the PR machine went after Justin Baldoni, and how quickly narratives started appearing online trying to paint Justin as dangerous before the public even saw the full picture. That's why a lot of viewers feel emotionally exhausted by the story now. They feel manipulated. Nobody likes feeling manipulated by celebrities who already have power, money, connections, and massive media influence. And now that some of Blake's claims have disappeared, people are asking why Justin Baldoni is still being treated like the villain in certain Hollywood circles. That's where this newer report from Puck became really interesting because their tone was completely different from Hollywood Reporter. Puck basically admitted that yes, Justin took career damage, but they also acknowledged something people keep forgetting. Justin Baldoni still has serious financial backing behind him. And in Hollywood, money changes everything. If you have financing, if you have connections, if you can get projects made independently, you are never truly finished. That's why people are watching billionaire Steve Sarowitz very closely right now. Steve didn't just casually support Justin Baldoni. Apparently, he stood behind him aggressively through all of this. According to reports, he paid legal bills on time, never tried cutting corners, and fully believed Justin was unfairly attacked. That's a massive deal because most people in Hollywood disappear the second controversy becomes inconvenient. The fact that Steve stayed publicly supportive says a lot. But then things took an even darker turn. Because while Hollywood reporters were busy debating careers and reputations, there were actual terrifying incidents happening behind the scenes. Reports revealed Steve Sarowitz allegedly dealt with harassment, threats, and even horrifying messages involving his family. One incident involved someone threatening his daughter unless money was paid, and people online were stunned reading those details because suddenly this celebrity lawsuit stopped feeling like harmless gossip and started feeling genuinely dangerous. And even though authorities reportedly found no connection tying Blake Lively directly to any of that behavior, audiences still blame the environment created around the case. That's the part people cannot ignore. Once public smear campaigns, aggressive narratives, and online mob behavior start spiraling out of control, things get ugly fast, which is why some people now believe this entire scandal permanently changed how Hollywood operates behind closed doors. Because let's be honest here, a lot of actors, directors, and producers are probably terrified watching this unfold. They're seeing how quickly one conflict can turn into lawsuits, media wars, PR attacks, internet investigations, leaked texts, manipulated headlines, and career destruction attempts. Nobody wants to become the next public casualty. And yet, despite all that chaos, insiders still think Justin Baldoni can eventually recover. Why? Because Hollywood has a very short memory when money is involved. One agent reportedly admitted that if Justin and Wayfarer Studios have a good script and enough financing, most actors would still absolutely sign on. And honestly, that's probably true. This industry forgives people constantly when there's profit attached. People worked with controversial figures for decades if the projects were successful enough. That's why some viewers laugh when Hollywood suddenly pretends to care deeply about morality now. The hypocrisy is impossible to ignore. Another insider even pointed out that canceled producer Scott Rudin is already finding his way back into the industry despite years of backlash. So the idea that Justin Baldoni is permanently banned forever, a lot of people are not convinced, especially because audiences themselves seem increasingly supportive of Justin. That's the biggest twist in this entire story. Public opinion shifted dramatically over time. In the beginning, many people instantly sided with Blake Lively because she's Blake Lively. She's famous, glamorous, connected, and protected by powerful Hollywood friendships. But once more information started surfacing, social media completely changed direction. Suddenly, Justin started looking less like a predator and more like someone getting steamrolled publicly. And audiences hate watching someone get unfairly destroyed. That's why even now, people are still defending Justin online while criticizing Blake and Ryan more aggressively than ever. Every time another article subtly frames Justin negatively, comment sections explode with frustration. People are tired of what they see as media spin. They're tired of headlines that still casually repeat phrases like unsafe set while ignoring all the inconsistencies that emerge later. Meanwhile, Blake Lively's image keeps slipping further away from the polished Hollywood princess branding she spent years building. And the worst part for her is that the internet never forgets. Every awkward interview clip, every old rude moment, every resurfaced story gets added onto the pile now because once public opinion turns, people start re-examining everything differently. Celebrities can survive scandals, but surviving audience distrust is much harder. That's exactly why insiders are advising Blake to disappear for a while, because right now, the public mood around her feels icy, not just annoyed, exhausted. People feel like they watched an extremely powerful celebrity try to control a narrative, and it backfired publicly. And now, even if Hollywood quietly protects her behind the scenes, regular viewers are not reacting the same way they used to anymore. And honestly, that shift may end up being more important than any lawsuit outcome, because at the end of the day, Hollywood can try spinning narratives all at once, but audiences decide who they emotionally connect with. And right now, a lot of people simply do not trust Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds the way they used to. That's the real problem. Hiding underneath all these articles and insider quotes, it's not just about lawsuits anymore, it's about perception. Once the audience starts feeling like celebrities are manipulating them instead of entertaining them, the relationship changes completely. And Blake's team clearly understands that. That's why people have noticed this sudden flood of softer PR stories trying to reshape her image again. Stories about motherhood, family life, being misunderstood, staying strong through adversity, all the classic celebrity reputation repair tactics started appearing almost immediately after the legal situation shifted. But online reactions have been brutal because people recognize the strategy now. The public has become way more media savvy over the past few years, especially after watching so many celebrity scandals unfold in real time. And the timing made it worse because while Blake's image rehab stories started circulating, Justin Baldoni was still out there being described as difficult, controversial, and potentially unemployable, despite the fact that many people feel he was reacting to attacks rather than creating them. That imbalance is exactly why audiences got angry at outlets like Hollywood Reporter. People feel like certain media circles still refuse to fully admit how badly this narrative may have been mishandled from the beginning. Even the way they compare this case to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard frustrates viewers now, because some insiders keep framing it as proof that Hollywood forgives men easier than women, but audiences reject that explanation entirely. People online keep saying the same thing. This was never about gender, it was about credibility. In the Depp situation, public opinion shifted because people watched the evidence themselves. And now they're saying something similar happened here. The more details surfaced, the more people questioned Blake's version of events. That's why this entire scandal became such a disaster for Hollywood itself. Because suddenly audiences started questioning not only celebrities, but also journalists, PR teams, entertainment outlets, and the entire machine surrounding celebrity culture, people realized how aggressively narratives can be shaped before all the information is public. And once audiences lose trust in the machine, it becomes harder for studios and publicists to control stories moving forward. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni is sitting in this strange position where Hollywood insiders seem nervous about him, but regular viewers are increasingly sympathetic toward him. That's actually a powerful combination long term. Because if Justin can eventually come back with the right project, the right script, and the right public appearance, audiences may rally around him even harder, specifically because they feel he survived something unfair. Hollywood loves comeback stories. The same industry, pretending to avoid controversy today, will absolutely embrace redemption tomorrow if the public appetite is there. And let's be real, people already seem curious about Justin's next move. Will he direct independently? Will Wayfarer Studios keep producing films? Will actors quietly agree to work with him once the headlines calm down? A lot of insiders actually think yes, because despite all the damage, Justin still has relationships, financing possibilities, and public support that many canceled celebrities never had. That's why some agents privately admitted that talent will still show up if the script is strong enough and the paycheck clears. It sounds cynical, but it's Hollywood. Careers there rarely die permanently unless the money disappears too. And honestly, the funniest part in all this is that Blake Lively may have technically won certain parts of the legal battle on paper while still losing something much bigger publicly, her image. Because before this scandal, Blake was mostly viewed as glamorous, witty, fashionable, and untouchable. Now there's controversy attached to her name permanently. Whenever people hear Blake Lively now, they don't immediately think Met Gala gowns or cute Ryan Reynolds interviews anymore. They think lawsuits, PR wars, leaked messages, accusations, internet backlash, and Justin Baldoni. That association alone changes a celebrity career forever. Ryan Reynolds may recover faster simply because he has giant franchises protecting him, but even his image feels shakier than before. Audiences are suddenly noticing how manufactured celebrity branding can be. The goofy, charming persona does not work as effortlessly once people start questioning what's happening behind the scenes. And that's probably the biggest lesson from this entire situation. Fame protects celebrities until it suddenly doesn't. For years, Blake and Ryan looked completely untouchable, beautiful couple, perfect branding, funny interviews, fashionable appearances, billion-dollar Hollywood image. But all it took was one messy public conflict for people to start looking underneath the surface. And once audiences start pulling apart the illusion, rebuilding trust becomes incredibly difficult. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni, the guy many people expected to disappear quietly, somehow ended up gaining sympathy from huge sections of the internet instead. That's the irony nobody saw coming. The director Hollywood now seems hesitant to hire may actually have stronger audience goodwill than some of the biggest stars in the room. And if there's one thing this industry eventually follows, it's audience attention. Studios pretend they lead culture, but they follow money and public interest more than anything else. So while insiders keep debating whether Justin Baldoni is finished, audiences are sitting there asking a completely different question. What if he actually comes out of this stronger?